Hello everyone, I'm Mike Mickle. Welcome to INN News. Face it, our entire lives are now in our phones. But one of the most influential agencies in the country says they are likely to kill us if we keep using them behind the wheel. The feds insist texting, emailing, or using any cell phone is simply too dangerous to be allowed while driving, hands-free or not. The National Transportation Safety Board can't impose restrictions, so it's asking every state to invoke strong new bans.
How do we reverse this trend where almost half of our young drivers are texting or emails? And I think staff's pointed it out. It takes three things. It takes education, it takes laws, and it takes strong enforcement of those laws.
Distracted driving causes 600,000 crashes and 3,000 deaths each year. Shelley Forney lost her 9-year-old daughter to a distracted driver.
Erica hit the windshield and she flipped backwards 15 feet and landed on her neck.
The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says 90% of drivers support texting bans. 60% favor cell phone bans. The only problem is too many still use electronic devices behind the wheel. Well, if you're tired of high-volume commercials, the government has heard you loud and clear. A new federal rule will prohibit commercials played much louder than television shows. The FCC imposed the rule after thousands of viewer complaints. The rule limiting spikes in volume won't take effect, though, for another year. Well, this news also affects us all. House Republicans have approved a measure to keep a lower tax on Americans' paychecks. However, it also calls for approval of an oil pipeline that would be built from Canada to Texas. Now, that measure will likely stop the bill in the Democrat-controlled Senate. Congress is running out of time to pass a payroll tax cut extension by the end of the year. Without an extension, Americans making about $50,000 a year will pay an extra $1,000 in taxes. Congress is also facing the threat of another government shutdown after Friday if both sides can't agree on a spending plan. Your town's post office will stay open a little longer. The U.S. Postal Service has agreed to hold off on closing any more offices or mail facilities until May 15th of next year to allow Congress time to work on a plan to save the service. The news of the moratorium comes just a week after the Postal Service announced a plan to slow down first-class mail, which would have closed some 250 mail processing plants nationwide. It would have eliminated 28,000 jobs. Time for your vote 2012, and Donald Trump is stirring up speculation once again. This after Trump pulled out as moderator of a Republican debate next week. Only Newt Gingrich and Rick Santorum have agreed to do that debate. Trump says he reconsidered moderating because he's still considering a run for president as an independent, but he can't officially join the race until his TV show The Apprentice ends in May. Former Governor Rod Blagojevich will have one more month of freedom. His surrender date has been moved back from February to March. He must now report on March 15th. Blagojevich's attorney said the former governor and his wife Patty are close to selling their home and he would like to be a part of that closing. Blagojevich also requested he spend his 14 years at a prison in Colorado. He wanted to serve there because of fewer gang fights. Two men who have accused former Syracuse University assistant basketball coach Bernie Fine are suing. The men say Fine molested them several years ago when they worked as ball boys for the team. They've hired attorney Gloria Allred to help them sue the school and the head basketball coach, who previously accused the men of making up their allegations. Fine denies anything happened. Prosecutors say the allegations are credible, but can't press charges because the statute of limitations has run out. Still, they say federal investigators could file their own charges. Well, heavy rain leads to a rescue in New Zealand. And which country is rationing butter and why? In tonight's Global News Now. An Afghan woman who was sentenced to 12 years in prison for adultery after a relative raped her has been freed. The woman has been taken to a safe house in an undisclosed location. Her plight gained international attention when it came out she had agreed to marry her attacker to gain her freedom and legitimize her daughter. Rescue crews were out in this New Zealand town after rushing floodwaters trapped two men in a tree. They are tourists from Switzerland and Canada. They're now safe and sound. Heavy rain has been hitting the area, creating dangerous conditions for residents and tourists. Singer Amy Winehouse has topped the British charts with a new album more than 4 months after her death. The posthumous collection, Lioness Hidden Treasures, features 12 unreleased songs and alternative versions of some of her hits. The singer died in July at age 27 following a long battle with alcohol and drugs. She died of alcohol poisoning. Swiss scientists are excited over new discoveries about the so-called God particle. They say they've narrowed down its possible hiding spots. The elusive subatomic particle would explain several unsolved mysteries about the universe and the nature of matter itself. Norwegians are facing an unexpected wrinkle in their Christmas cooking plans. Butter supplies are scarce and prices have skyrocketed. A rainy summer reduced the quality of animal feed, decreasing milk production. That and an increased interest in home cooking is upping demand. Some stores are now rationing butter. And that's your Global News Now. Well, there's a fix for your new Kindle Fire and popping the cork on better champagne sales as Ryan Bass gets back to business.
Amazon says Kindle Fire updates are coming within 2 weeks to address some early user complaints. The Kindle Fire is the stripped-down tablet computer that's emerging as perhaps the most popular rival to Apple's iPad. Amazon says an operating system update will improve speed and touchscreen controls and will give users controls over displaying recent browsing activity. Shoppers, start your engines. Macy's will keep more than a dozen of its stores open for 3 days straight in the days before Christmas. Most of the stores are on the East Coast and the Midwest. The fun starts December 21st. Plenty of time for all of you procrastinators to get out there and get those last-minute gifts. The French champagne industry is preparing for a good holiday season, a significant recovery from 2 years ago when it was forced to slash production following the global economic downturn. Champagne sales are up 15% over last year and are headed for near record sales levels. For your Back to Business, I'm Ryan Bass.
Well, this is something you really don't see every day. A police car vertical on a utility pole. It happened early yesterday morning in Miami. The officer was apparently reaching down to get a dropped pen. He wasn't paying attention and, well, this is the result. The officer's fine. He didn't even have a scratch on him. Well, another year is almost over, and what a newsmaker it was. We begin our look back with NASA's Big Finish and what's ahead in space exploration. And the snow is falling and we are scratching how to ease that dry winter skin. And the bromance is over. Why these male penguins were forced to find other mates of the opposite sex when INN continues.